Welcome back to another episode of College Hockey Talk. We're here today with rising senior of the Wisconsin Badgers women's ice hockey team, Brette Pettet. Thank you so much for coming on, and how's everything going?
I'm just moving out of my apartment today, actually, so it's been a busy day, but everything's good. So,
That's good to hear, and I just want to talk about before you went to Wisconsin, you grew up in Nova Scotia. What was it like to grow up there, and how did you start playing hockey?
yeah, so Nova Scotia was a great place to grow up in terms of hockey. I have two older brothers who both played before me, so they kind of got me into it, just going to the rink and following them. So, as soon as I could get the chance to play, I obviously wanted to join too. So, it was definitely a positive experience growing up in Nova Scotia with people like Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon, and on the girls' side, Blair Turnbull. So having players like that to look up to was awesome as a young kid.
And who was your hockey idol growing up?
Um, from a young age, I would say it was Alexis Crosley and Blair Turnbull. So Alexis she's from Halifax, and she left and went to Shattuck St. Mary's for high school. And so I kind of followed her and Taylor Crosby's steps and went there myself in 8th grade. So I'd say I definitely looked up to them.
Now, I was reading some of your stats from the Wisconsin website, and you played for Hockey Nova Scotia in the Canada Games back in 2014. What was it like to play in that tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you get the opportunity to represent your province, it's a pretty special feeling. So I can say that all of my experiences with Hockey Nova Scotia and Hockey Canada have been awesome, but Canada Games is definitely something a little extra fun. So it was definitely a big tournament, and it was awesome to see the competition and all the players that Canada has to offer. So it was a lot of fun.
I also want to talk about your time at Shattuck St. Mary's. My first question is, what made you want to play there, and how did you get the opportunity to go there?
So I actually did a camp in Nova Scotia, and Taylor Crosby was also at the camp. And I remember her asking me if I was going to play girls hockey the next year or what. And I really didn't know because I grew up playing boys hockey through Peeve. And so she thought Shattuck might be a good fit for me. So I told my parents, and um, they gave me all the support in the world. And I visited Shattuck in 7th grade and skated with them and kind of went through some paperwork stuff, and then was able to go in 8th grade. So it was an amazing experience for sure.
Now, what's it like to play in a school like that where there's so many famous NHL players that went there and famous women's players that looked there? And how did you want to add to the history of that school?
Yeah, I think initially I just wanted to make sure I could kind of get my feet under me and keep up with everyone there. I mean, getting to practice with the best players in the U.S. And seeing some of the best men's players in the U.S. and across the world was definitely an awesome experience, and most definitely pushed me to become a better player. So I think just the biggest thing for me going there for hockey was just to develop and get the opportunity to train with the best. So it was awesome.
Now, what was your experience like at Shattuck St. Mary's, and what was the biggest thing you learned there?
Um, First of all, my experience was great. I mean, I went there in 8th grade, so I was 12 or 13 years old, and I did my 5 years there, graduated after grade 12. But I would say the biggest thing I learned was probably um, just kind of how to be on my own and kind of be responsible for my own actions, and as a person, but also as a hockey player. I really learned there that what you put in is what you're going to get out. So I think the biggest thing for me was just learning how to live life on my own and kind of get my feet under me and hold myself accountable for everything.
Now, went to Shattuck at such a young age. What was the biggest challenge you faced while going there?
Yeah, I think just being away from family for sure was tough, but my parents were able to come down and watch a few weekends a year and come to nationals and stuff like that. So it was definitely better getting to see them multiple times throughout the year, opposed to just FaceTime calls and stuff like that. But I would say that was the biggest adjustment, was just being on my own and kind of taking care of myself for the first time ever at such a young age.
And you also won 4 championships at Shattuck. Which one was the most memorable to you, and what was their team secret for sustaining so much success?
I think the most memorable one for me was actually in 8th grade, my first one. I think part of it was everything was so new and it was such a big tournament. You kind of heard the older girls talk about it all year. So to finally get to experience that and have played a big role in our win was definitely an amazing feeling. So I would say the first one, and then also my last one, just kind of ending on a good note and winning. So.
And how did playing at Shattuck help you prepare for college hockey?
I think the biggest thing was just the commitment. So I think one thing I really learned at Shattuck was that you need to be committed, every day. It's not something you can kind of just go through the motions with if you want to get better. So our practices were before classes. So we were up at, 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning and practicing before school and then working out after. So I think that routine just gave me a little bit of a head start when coming here to Wisconsin because we obviously train, almost every day here as well. So I think that was the biggest thing that prepared me, and as well as the hockey. I mean, nothing can fully prepare you for college hockey, I don't think, but getting to play with some of those girls that have done amazing things in the NCAA definitely helped.
Now, talk about your recruiting process and what made you want to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I really didn't know too much about, I guess any college really when I first went to Shattuck, just because I'm Canadian and I was young. So everything was new to me off the bat. So I ended up visiting 5 schools, but in Wisconsin was the first. And I think right away I came and I visited campus and I was like, I want to go here. It was kind of an immediate thing, but obviously I wanted to make sure that I looked at other schools and made the right choice. But in terms of my decision to come here, I think the coaching staff played a big role in it. Coach Johnson, his brother, is actually a coach at Shattuck. So I had Pete Johnson as my coach for 2 years. And so that relationship definitely contributed to me looking into Wisconsin and kind of finding my love for it here. Also, Dan Cook's wife is she works at Shattuck too. So I had a great relationship with her, and Coach Cook actually used to coach at Shattuck. So somehow Shattuck and Wisconsin are kind of intertwined in terms of coaching and stuff like that. So I found a lot of similarities and things that I liked with that, which definitely contributed to my decision.
Now, what's it like to play under Coach Johnson? Obviously, he was a member of the Miracle on Ice team. Just talk about what's he like as a coach and off the ice as a person.
Yeah, it's insane. I think a lot of us kind of come to the realization that we sometimes take it for granted and not necessarily forget, but just don't cherish the everything he teaches us. Sometimes it's just like he'll have the littlest comments or actions, but when he does when he does coach us and kind of teach us different things every day, it's something that you definitely hold on to. So playing under him is extremely exciting and fun. He makes the game fun, which is ultimately why we play. So it's definitely intimidating at times. Not that he's a scary guy or anything, but you just have a lot of respect for him. So it's a great opportunity.
And what was the biggest adjustment you had to make playing college hockey? Was it the mental side of the game, having quicker decisions with the puck, or was it the physicality, playing against players that are a lot older than you were at the time?
I think, coming straight into here as a freshman, the biggest thing for me was kind of decision making and confidence and just the speed in general. I think not only is it faster skating wise and the players are a lot stronger, but your decisions have to be a lot quicker and everything's done just at a quicker pace. So initially that was the biggest adjustment I found that I had to make, was just getting up to pace with the players here. And then, throughout the years, just working on my speed and stuff like that.
Now, talk about playing in your first WCHA playoffs. Even though you lost against Minnesota, what did you learn from that whole experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, we had a great team all season, and, we secured a top spot for, almost the entire season. So I think kind of going into it, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew it was going to be hard and a different experience for me, but um, losing on something that you work an entire year for is obviously not a great feeling. So you kind of keep that feeling with you the following year, and you know how much you want to win and don't want to feel that sting again. So I think that was a big motivating factor for my following year, just to work harder and kind of have our whole team work towards this goal even harder than before.
Yeah, you also got to play in your first national tournament your freshman year as well. Just talk about that whole experience and playing in the Frozen Four as well.
Yeah, I mean, that it was insane. I had never really participated in anything like that in my life. So, you go through nationals and stuff like that. I was able to do that at Shattuck, but nothing's quite the same as a Frozen Four experience. So, my family came down and watched, and it was amazing. I mean, obviously, my first year we didn't end up winning or have the outcome that we wanted, but we definitely were able to learn a lot from it and kind of take that into the next year as returning players. So.
What did you take away from that freshman year at Frozen Four experience to help you in your sophomore years as well?
I think especially our freshman years, just kind of to not underestimate any opponent and to really go 100% every single shift. Championship games are just a whole lot different than a regular season game, and obviously you're going to work your hardest, any game throughout the season, but these are just, next level. Everything's a lot more intense. So I think a big thing was just to kind of stay and keep playing our game and not get too worried about what's at stake, and just kind of try and relax and do what we know best.
Now let's talk about that magical season you had your sophomore year. At what point during the regular season did you realize you had the chance to win a championship?
Yeah, I mean, I think right away I knew we had a special group. We had an amazing group of seniors and kind of leaders that led our group the entire season. So I think right away it was clear that everyone was, going to be held accountable no matter what your role was and what line you were on and whatever it may be. So I think right away everyone kind of knew the group was special and that we all really wanted to put everything into it to get to our final goal at the end of the year. So I think it was right away that we kind of were like, okay, we have an opportunity to do this, so we just have to put in the work.
And you also won a league championship that same year in the WCHA. What was it like to win that championship, because you lost to Minnesota in the previous year? And did that motivate you during that game? And just talk about that championship game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, most people know that Minnesota and Wisconsin have a big rival anyway. So, any game, no matter if it's a championship game or not, is really fun and intense against them. So to kind of amplify that even more and play for a trophy is, I can say my favorite games that I've played, have kind of been against them and for things at stake, just because you're going to get the best from them and they're going to get the best from you. So, it was an unbelievable feeling, especially having lost the year before that. So it was great to get the trophy and finish the year strong.
Now, the national championship run you had back in 2019, your team didn't let in a single goal in the entire tournament. Talk about the play of your goalie, Kristen Campbell, and your defense and how they helped your championship win that season.
Yeah, I think, anyone who knows Kristen Campbell knows that she's the hardest worker you'll ever come across. I mean, she's insane. She never stops. So sometimes we have to tell her to take a break because she gets a little too crazy. But, she worked every day, all day for that championship. So to see her hard work pay off in that final tournament was amazing. And there was honestly no one more deserving than her. So I think her confidence was a big thing. She accepted that role and she thrived. So it was a great feeling to see her do so well in a tournament like that.
Now, I got to ask you, what was it like to win that championship, and what did it mean personally to you?
Yeah, it was insane. It's kind of something that you dream of, So especially as a Canadian coming here and just getting the opportunity to play here and go to such a great school. It's like the cherry on top, it's obviously something you work every day for here. We spend our summers here. We have an 8-week training session. So, most of our years spent here in Madison. So to have all of your work finally pay off at the end of the year, for something like that is just unbelievable. And I know we had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, it was great.
Now, did you get to do anything cool after the championship run? Like any cool experience, any cool people you got to meet, or any story that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest, I guess the first thing that sticks out to me is right when we landed in Madison on our chartered flight. We were accompanied by a ton of police cars, and they all had their sirens coming into Madison. So, you really felt like a superstar. So that was kind of my glimpse at fame there. So it was pretty awesome. Madison did a great job making us feel like the champions that we were at that time. So it was amazing to come back here and have the trophy and, just know that you're supported by everyone here. So it was great. And then let me think here. We also were recognized up at the Capitol, which was a fun experience. And we got to go to the football game and kind of show our trophy one day. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we were definitely very spoiled. So it was an awesome experience, to say the least.
Now, this past season, you made significant improvements to your game. What in particular did you work on to make such improvements?
I think my biggest thing was my speed. I've been battling, I guess, with knee injuries 3 years in a row, my senior year of high school and then my freshman and sophomore year. Each of those years I tore my meniscus and had a knee surgery. So even though it wasn't a huge, knee replacement or anything like that, it still kind of hindered my ability to get faster at times. So I think just being healthy and really tuning into my body and trying to get faster and stronger every day and work on my confidence played a big role.
Now, you also had the opportunity to play in the Country Classic this past season. What was it like to play in Nashville in front of all those fans?
Yeah, it was definitely different. I had never been there before, and I've always heard awesome things about it. So it was definitely really exciting. Everything was completely new, and, you have the country music and all that stuff. So it was really fun to play there and play against teams that aren't in our conference. So that was an awesome experience for sure. And, our coaches allowed us to go downtown and kind of see, the whole experience. So it was an amazing trip for sure.
Now, unfortunately, your team lost to Ohio State in the WCHA championship game this past season. What did you take away from that game that will help out for next year?
Yeah, I think, Ohio State is definitely a great team. So I think in terms of our play, we just kind of need to keep to our own game and just kind of give it 100%. We always know that when we play Ohio, we're going to get their best. So they're a very competitive team, which is great because it kind of motivates you more as well. So it's always a good matchup, and hopefully, we can use this summer to get better and come back even stronger for the following season.
Now, winning a championship in your sophomore year and going into your junior season, obviously Wisconsin has a target on their back from all the Big Ten and WCHA teams that are playing against you. What's it like to play with a target on your back and knowing that you're going to get every team's best at any given night?
Yeah, I think some players take it differently. Personally, I like it because it kind of motivates you to just have the confidence that that you and your team can go out there and get stuff done. So, and the other side of the coin is just you're going to get your best from everyone else, and maybe that doesn't always guarantee a victory or a good game for your team, but it shows you kind of what you're up against and what you have to be able to beat if you want to win it at the end of the year.
Now, you were supposed to play Clarkson before the season got shut down. Where did you find out, and what was the reaction amongst your teammates, especially the seniors?
Yeah, so we were actually called into the rink, and we were told that we had a meeting with Coach Johnson and the other coaches. So I think we kind of thought maybe that's what we were going to hear. We knew some things on the East Coast were happening, so But obviously we were, we didn't really want to believe it. So, we went there, and then the coaching staff came into our locker room and kind of told us what was going on. So it was definitely an awful moment. I mean, luckily I have another year left, but um, especially for the seniors to go out like that and have worked so hard, not only like your entire career, but especially their senior year. I think we had a great team and definitely a good chance of doing well in the final tournament. So, I mean, obviously they were pretty bummed out and upset, but I think they took it as best as they could and kind of went from there, unfortunately.
Now, going in as a senior on this year's team, what type of leadership do you hope to bring to Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think I think just setting a good example for our incoming freshmen, and just kind of, I mean, each grade and each class on our team is very is worth respecting. So I think sometimes you always look towards the seniors and juniors, but I really do think that we have a good group of girls on our team this year. So I don't think that we'll have any problem holding each other accountable and getting the best from each other every day. So I look forward to it.
Now, what are some of your goals and aspirations personally for coming into next year?
Yeah, I mean, I think personally I'm injury-free right now, so just looking forward to getting back into it and getting a few weeks of summer training here, and then starting out with my team. So it's exciting to have new people come in, and I hope that I personally can fulfill a big role, or whatever role I see myself in this year, or whatever it may be. So I'm just looking forward to getting back on the ice and playing.
Now, I want to ask you some questions about some of your teammates. The first one is about Presley Norby. She was recently drafted in the NWHL. What was it like to play with her, and did she teach you anything since she was a grade above you?
Yeah, so Presley was actually my roommate this past year as well. So it's definitely been amazing to have her as a teammate and a friend. I think hockey-wise, she really helped me my freshman year. Presley was a right winger, and I came in playing right wing. So just kind of watching her and figuring out, what the coaching staff was looking for in terms of, D-zone play or whatever it may be. So I think I definitely watched her quite a bit and just tried to learn from her. So it was very helpful for me.
Now, what was your reaction when you found out she was drafted in the NWHL?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. She's a great player and a great person. So I was really excited for her, and hopefully she enjoys the opportunity.
Now, the next question about one of your teammates is about Sophie Shirley. Describe to me how good of a hockey player she is, and what's it like to play with her, and do you think she's one of the best players in the country?
Yeah, I mean, Soph's amazing. She's just the type of player that is naturally good, and the thing is most people who just are born talented don't always have to work for it. But I'll hand it to Soph. She works hard too, and she commits herself to the game. So yeah, I mean, I think she deserves everything she gets, and I definitely think she's one of the best players in the country, USA and Canada. So it's been amazing playing with her and kind of learning from her over the years, for sure.
Now we're getting to the segment in the podcast I like to call the non-hockey questions, where I ask you some non-hockey questions. And my first one is, what's your favorite sport to watch at Wisconsin that isn't hockey?
I would say football. Yeah, I grew up obviously in Nova Scotia, and football is not very big. So coming to my first Badger game and having 80,000 people in the fans was insane. So it's definitely been a lot of fun to see some of your friends out there.
And what is your favorite TV show, and which character from that show would be the best hockey player?
Oh, geez, that's a good one. Let me think here. I don't watch a ton of Netflix or anything like that, but I did just watch The Last Dance. So, I mean, seeing Michael Jordan and kind of, him as a person and how determined he is, I think even if he doesn't know how to skate now, he could learn it quick, because I know he'd dedicate himself to do it. So
I think Scottie Pippen would be a good hockey player too.
fair.
Now, what was your thoughts on Michael Jordan's mentality, and do you take some of that with you when you play hockey as well, just always working and trying to be a good leader and not caring what the people from the outside are saying about you?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds cliche, but I watching him, it almost makes you feel guilty at times. Like, okay, what else can I be doing? Because he really doesn't stop. So watching him and just his ability to kind of do his own thing without worrying about, others or what they think was pretty inspiring. But yeah, I mean, his work ethic is just unmatched. So watching that in the series was pretty inspiring for me personally, just to kind of keep that in mind whenever I'm tired or, don't want to do another rep or something, to just, know that I can do it and that it's in me if I want to do it. So.
Now, what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. Oh gosh. It's a hard one. I would say just in general when people wear hats at the dinner table. It's my biggest pet.
And who has the best style in Wisconsin women's hockey?
On the ice?
Yeah, both. Let's do it both on.
Okay, I would say off the ice, probably Grace Bowlby. She's always got, a different pair of shoes every day, so she always rides in style. And then on the ice, I would say, that's a good question. I think Sophie Shirley has pretty good style.
Who is the funniest on the team?
Funniest on the team. I mean, I think I would say Jessie DeVito probably, or Britta Curl.
If you could have lunch with one person, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Anyone in the world?
Yeah.
All right, let me think here. I think, I think I would do Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
What would you ask him?
I think honestly anything that came to mind. I think my first questions would just be like, after watching the documentary series, he was cut from his high school team, and then, how he kind of used that to motivate him, and some of the things that he kept in mind when training and stuff like that.
It says on the Wisconsin website that you can solve a Rubik's Cube. I want to know what is the secret to that.
The secret is YouTube. I actually learned it first from a friend going to a Hockey Nova Scotia tournament, so I learned it on the airplane. But once you know it, you can solve it every time. So it's kind of funny sometimes when you see people mix it up for 2 minutes as opposed to 15 seconds. It's probably going to be just as hard either way. So, but yeah, just go on YouTube and check it out.
Now, some final hockey questions. What do you think has to be done to grow women's hockey?
I think right now it's actually it is growing, obviously, and it has a lot more over the years than when I was growing up. It wasn't very big, especially where I'm from. So I think the biggest thing is just providing an opportunity for everyone, and just kind of spreading the word. So I think right now there's a big movement, and players are doing a good job of spreading it on social media and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest thing, and then just providing an opportunity for young girls to begin hockey in their communities.
Now, what has been your favorite hockey memory thus far?
Ooh, probably winning the national championship. Yeah, I most definitely, actually. Yeah, that would be it.
Now, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make before we let you go?
Shout-outs? Not any I can think of, not at the moment, but I would say maybe one to Abby Rock, because she was a great player to play under and kind of learn from over the years. So I'll give one to Abby.
Well, nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I wish you and your team the best of luck for next season, and go Badgers.
Awesome. Thank you.